Armada Kickoff is brought to you by Community First Credit Union, Winn-Dixie, Baptist Health, Bowden Eye and Associates, Brumos Automotive, and Coastal Spine and Pain Center.
Hello and welcome into Armada Kickoff. We're about a month into the preseason, and the Armada is in the midst of their busiest week yet. Looking ahead, they'll try to take down a third MLS club on the preseason Saturday. More on that matchup with the New York Red Bulls in just a moment.
There's some strong New York connections on the Armada, and we'll tell you why this game might have a little extra meaning for some on the Jacksonville roster.
Plus, Bob Veal in Bob's Boot Room, David Hayes and Andy Kidd join us in the Analyst Roundtable to get their thoughts on the team so far. But let's start with last night's preseason scrimmage between the Armada and UNF. Sandwiched in between Orlando City and the Red Bulls on the Armada preseason schedule were the Ospreys from UNF. The defending Atlantic Sun Conference champions have high expectations for the 2016 season, but last night a real challenge facing the Armada. Head coach Tony Miola had his assistant coaches draft teams for the first and second halves at Hodges Stadium, and the outcome was maybe a bit surprising.
It didn't take long to see how UNF wanted to play. Look at all the white shirts back there on defense. They really packed it in the early goings, and through most of the contest, a lot of white shirts are back. 15th minute, Pascal Million tried to slide one through to Derek Gebhard. Gebhard pulled it just wide. Good scoring opportunity there for the Armada. 20th minute now. Jamal Johnson on the attack. Tries to get it from distance, but elevates it too high. It sails over the top. It remained 0-0. Here's a rarity, a UNF chance, one of just 2 shots in the entire game for the Ospreys. 37th minute, Gebhard again. Good turn, but couldn't get rid of it there. 53rd minute. Now here's Matt Fondy in the second half. Fondy was a real force in the second half, creating all kinds of chances. Off the corner from Richie Ryan, Fondy with a header, went just wide. The Armada would pile up 19 shots in total in the contest, just 2 for UNF. Didn't have a single shot on goal. Charles Alondu has been a revelation in the preseason. The Cameroonian sent it just high and wide. Armada had some chances, but couldn't find the net. A 0-0 draw with UNF.
And you see the numbers, it's pretty dramatic. The highlights didn't lie. 19 shots to 2 in favor of the Armada, 6 on goal, none for UNF, 7 corners for the Armada, only 1 for the Ospreys. It was very clear Derek Marinatos, the UNF head coach, wanted to pack it in and make it difficult for the Armada to score, which they did. The Armada had the ball and the run of play across the board. It will be a different story, you would expect, on Saturday against the New York Red Bulls.
In a 0-0 game, sometimes you have to rely on your defense, and that's where we find last night's fair and fair man of the match, Matt Boehner. Playing in the first half, Boehner not only kept the offense from getting into the defensive third of the field, but he helped create an attack for the Armada up the left side. Boehner and the rest of the Armada figure to be tested much more sternly Saturday against the Red Bulls.
Players that you can switch around, and we're going to be very strong.
We saw a lot of different players, a lot of different lineups.
All right, we welcome in to the Analyst Roundtable presented by Subway, Andy Kidd, David Hayes. All right, guys, let's talk about who you've seen surprise you on the Armada roster so far in the preseason. Andy, what have you seen?
I've liked what Danny Barrow's done. You know, kind of a relative unknown. I know he tried out, was a trialist for the Armada last year, but he's come in and when he's gotten in games, he's one of those guys that he can beat a player. And when you have teams that are packing in the box, you need somebody that can take somebody on and create a numbers up opportunity. I think Danny can do that. Alondu's done well as a trialist, and he's kind of been a nice surprise as well.
Yeah, for me, I'd like to first say that I think that we kept everybody from last year that we needed to keep. I think they did a great job at keeping those players that needed to be kept. And then Barrow, Pekka, Ryan, I think all of them come. There's no, I guess, learning curve for them. They've already been a professional. So I think adding them to it was remarkable. So I think it's a good team. So I can't go on a limb right now. I think Barrow's done well. But for me, I think that it's just a good team.
About 2 years ago last week, in fact, the Armada brand was unveiled, the logo, the team name, the whole thing. How has the last 2 years affected Jacksonville as a soccer community, as a soccer city?
I mean, I just think from the start, Frisch and company has just, made this from the media, fan base. I mean, I think it's going to be a soccer city like a Portland that's going to have a great fan base and it's going to be here for decades.
Right.
That's what I feel.
Yeah, you played in Portland. You know what that's like.
Yeah, and Jacksonville's always been a great soccer community, but it's very spread out, as you know. You know, from St. Johns County to Nassau County, I mean, Duval County, you've got all kinds of soccer clubs and activities, but the Armada is given one unified organization for everybody to get behind. So it's kind of neat to be in the south side of Jacksonville and see Armada stickers, and whether you're on the north side, south side, wherever, it's kind of given that one unifying, organization for everybody to get behind. And so it's been cool to see, and I think that's why you see such good fan support.
Guys, don't go far. We'll have more for you both coming up here in just a bit. Let's turn now to Coach's Corner, where we hear from head coach Tony Meola. His team has now defeated a pair of MLS squads already, and he's learning more and more about his players every day.
I learned that these guys get excited to play these games, and that's a good thing, and they don't shy away from them. The idea behind this was that our players were never in awe of playing against anybody, and I tell them all the time, you got to respect the opponent. Doesn't matter if it's UNF or Red Bull, you have to respect the opponent all the time, but you never should be in awe of playing anybody. And I think at least what we learned about ourselves is, although the games haven't been always exactly what we want them to look like, we've been resilient in the games, and we've been able to find ways, and I know it's preseason and some people don't want to talk about winning, but for me, winning is important, and that mentality is important, and I've said that from the start. So to know that we have that quality when things aren't going great for us is a really positive thing for us.
Are you starting to zero in more on what formations and what players within formations are going to work the best?
Well, we said we'd go 4 weeks with 3 in the back, and then we go 4 weeks, and we still got a couple weeks to go here with playing a 4-3-3, and that plan doesn't change, and then we'll go back and reevaluate. In the end, you've got guys that are potentially injured, guys in international duty, so we got to be ready to adjust. The one thing I don't see myself doing is changing every week, regardless of whether we play on the road or we play away. We might start our line of confrontation in a different spot, but I don't see myself playing a different formation. I'd prefer to continue to get better at what we do before we can really start changing every week. We might have different personnel that match up differently in those areas, but I don't see us changing entire formations, once we settle. But who knows? It might happen based on what we have available to us that week.
There have been a lot of exciting games so far this preseason for the Armada. The next one coming up, a real test against the team who won the most games in the MLS last season. The tough competition is not something that will be a surprise for the Armada.
Look, it's always good to beat a New York team, everyone else, us New Yorkers, we feel we're the best. I'm sure they do.
From growing up in the Big Apple to playing in it, the Armada are no strangers to the New York Red Bulls.
There aren't a whole lot of people left over, but the guys that are people that I consider lifelong friends, people like Dax, Connor Lade, Ryan Mira. So I'm excited to see those guys, and I think that'll probably be the biggest test we've had so far.
Sarmas, he's a good friend of mine. He played with us from Rough Riders, me and Tony, and then playing against him, and Jesse Marsh, me and him had some great battles. We're friends now, but, at the time I didn't really like him much. He played against me, so I didn't want him to like me. But, they're all good guys. We've known each other for quite a bit.
Friendships off the pitch fly out the window when the whistle blows on Saturday, as this is the last test for the Red Bulls before starting their MLS schedule, and the Armada could go 3-0 against their MLS opponents.
I'm excited about it. It should be a good test for us, and it'll be good to play against those guys again.
At the end of the day, we want to win everything we do, so it would be nice to get a win out of them and then meet them later and talk about it a little bit.
And though bragging rights are on the table between old friends, the game is just another step in preparation for April 10th and the chance to play in front of the Armada faithful. And what a treat it will be for fans on Saturday when the New York Red Bulls come to town. If you can't make it to the game, it can be seen right here on CW17. Our coverage begins at 5:30. Even more preseason friendlies coming to you in March. March 3rd and March 5th, a pair of USL teams are in town. The Tulsa Roughnecks and Charleston Battery face the Armada at Patton Park. Then it's a trip to Miami FC on March 9th. Then on March 15th, another Jacksonville opponent as the Armada take on Mauricio Ruiz's team, the JU Dolphins. There's still time to purchase tickets and season tickets for matches. Season tickets start at just $10 a match. Call 844-2-ARMADA or go to armadafc.com to purchase.
Straight ahead, the Armada weren't the only NASL team to face an MLS opponent in the preseason. We'll take you around the NASL.
We also head into Bob's Boot Room with Bob Veal to see young legs are making a difference in Jacksonville preseason wins. Stick around, more Armada Kickoff is straight ahead.
To enter for your chance to participate in the Winn-Dixie Bubble Battle, visit your nearest Winn-Dixie in your Armada gear, take a selfie, and post it to any of the Armada social media using the hashtag WinnDixieBB. 2 winners will be selected every Wednesday during a home match week. Assemble a team of 3, and you're ready for battle.
Player moves, MLS matchups, and a big deal for soccer stats. Let's see what's happening in the league as we go around the NASL, presented by Nike.
Let's start with a big signing in South Florida as the expansion Miami FC has signed the top modern-era goal scorer in the NASL, Pablo Campos. Campos has spent the past 3 years in Minnesota, where he was the 2012 Golden Boot and Golden Ball winner. He's the first player in the modern era to reach 50 NASL goals scored. 2 NASL teams took on MLS opposition this past weekend. Tampa Bay faced Philadelphia for the second time, and for the second time, the Union came away with a clean sheet victory 2-0. Ken Tribbett and Leo Fernandez, the former New York Cosmos, both scored in the victory for Philadelphia. Meanwhile, Minnesota was blanked by the defending MLS champs Portland Timbers 4-0. Goals by Lucas Milano and Darlington Nagbe sandwiched around a pair of PKs for Portland. Off the field, the NASL announced a partnership with Opta, the stats system the Premier League uses. This partnership should help bring more information from each game to fans and help deepen fans' understanding of the game.
Here are the preseason scheduled games for the NASL. You see Ottawa Fury, Indy 11 both taking on teams on Saturday. Same time the Armada will be playing New York Red Bulls. Then on Sunday, Carolina Railhawks stay in the state, take on a university club, UNC Wilmington. And 3 Sunday matchups involving MLS and NASL squads. Cosmos and San Jose Earthquakes. Minnesota United trying to bounce back against another Cascadia Cup contender after losing 4-0 to Portland. They'll take on Vancouver. And Tampa Bay will take on Montreal as they venture north of the border. Now let's head to Bob's Boot Room, presented by Collaboration Solutions and Clear Touch. Here are Bob Veal and Ashlea Bullington.
Thanks, Cole. Bob, great play coming from the last couple of games against the MLS teams. What have you seen from the young guys in the midfield?
You know, I like Charles Ilondu and Danny Barrow. Let's feature those 2 in the clips this week. Let's start with Ilondu first. Orlando get the ball here. Let's stop it here. This is Ilondu tracking back to win that ball. He came right back here and intercepted that ball. Now let's see what he does with that. He springs an attack here, turns, passes it back to Matt Boehner here, and then they start to attack. And where is he again? He is up here, ready to receive the ball. So let's look at the next clip here and feature Danny Barrow a little bit. Danny Barrow picks the ball up in defense here, and he plays it here. He flicks it to Ryan. Ryan's going to play a ball to Ilondu. Where's Barrow going to go? He's going to run into space here. So let's continue that clip. And you see it play to Ilondu here. Takes on a couple of players, puts it back to Boehner, and we start to attack again. And this is Ilondu making the move on the outside, and Danny Barrow collecting it there and forcing the corner. What I like about those 2 is that they get in and play the ball early.
And one thing people have said about Danny and Charles is that they use their feet a lot. They're really quick and they create a lot of space.
Very good technically.
Awesome. Well, thank
and
you.
Very young.
Yes, exactly. Thank you, Bob, so much. Cole, back to you.
Thanks, Ashley. Straight ahead, David Hayes and Andy Kidd rejoin us as we size up the NASL and take a closer look at Saturday's matchup with New York. Remember, take pictures with you in Armada gear or at Armada events. Then post it to social media with the hashtag Armada Selfie, and your photo could appear on the show. Stick around. More Armada Kickoff is straight ahead.
Watching, Copa America past couple of years, and now you have a chance to, thinking about you're gonna be making the list to go play against, the top teams like Ecuador, Peru, and then international. Everybody's gonna be watching it. You know what I mean? So it's just, it's just something special. You just gotta, thank God and just be grateful for that.
Everybody texting me like crazy. They are happy. I'm so happy too. We're gonna play against a big class 4 player, and I'm so excited.
Those two Armada players, Pascal Million and Meshach Jerome, are both excited to represent Haiti in the Copa America this summer. They're in the same group as Brazil. They'll have some great memories there. A way you can make some great memories is with our Armada Social Rewards program. It's a fantastic way to connect with the team and win Armada prizes. Anything from tickets, exclusive interactions with the players and coaches, and even an all-inclusive trip to an away game with the team. All you have to do is log on to armadasocialrewards.com, create an account, link your social media accounts to start earning tokens. Each week here on Armada Kickoff, we pick a random winner. This week's Social Rewards winner is Brian Tillery. Congratulations! You've won 2 tickets to Saturday's match against the New York Red Bulls. Now let's head over to the Analyst Roundtable presented by Subway. Cole?
All right, welcome back to the Analyst Roundtable presented by Subway. Andy Kidd, David Hayes. Guys, we've seen a lot of player movement, key players moving around the NASL here, including Pablo Campos, who we mentioned just a moment ago, the modern era leading goal scorer, signing with Miami FC. David, how are you seeing the league kind of shaping up here in 2016?
Well, I'm excited. It shows us that we have some stable owners and a consistent fan base. Back in the day, you used to make a good income, you had to play for Rochester or Portland, or I know there was only a couple clubs that had that kind of money. Now everyone does, so it shows us the owner base, shows us the growth in America, so I'm excited.
Yeah, you're seeing these guys, these teams being able to sign big name players that, the fans, even the casual fans recognize their names. We were just talking offline that Finley signed with Oklahoma, who used to play for the U.S. national team. And I think I saw somewhere that's 4 former national team players that are playing in the NASL right now. So the level of play is just continuing to rise, and it's making the league more attractive to fans.
All right, let's talk about Saturday's match against New York Red Bulls. What do you want to see?
I want to see the team start showing that they can be dangerous going forward. I think Coach Miola has established that the team is going to be hard to get through. They've done a really good job, kind of sealing off the defensive third and making sure that they're not going to give up 3 and 4 goals a game. But now I think everybody wants to start seeing, all right, what are we going to do going forward?
David, how about you?
I just want to see what we've seen so far is the willingness to keep the ball, the willingness to get forward, get behind the ball, and play attractive soccer and just gel together and become a team.
Outcomes aside, final score aside, if the Armada play well against the Red Bulls, that'll be 3 MLS teams, 3 good performances. What does that tell you about what we might see in the regular season from the Armada?
To me, I don't hold a lot of beating MLS teams in preseason because everyone's just trying to gel together. The MLS is a little bit far ahead of us as far as where they're at in the season right now, so they're a little bit fitter, but they're still trying out players. But what I like this year, what I didn't see last year, is a full team. I think this year we're keeping the ball well, we're training well. I think Tony and company has done a great job at putting players together and we're just still trying to figure things out, but we've done a great job.
Yeah, I think if they have a good result against the Red Bull, whether it's a win, a tie, or a close game, as long as they're showing progress, as long as the team is continuing to progress, I think what we've seen so far is encouraging for what the regular season might bring. It doesn't mean that you're going to win a championship. I mean, I think the Armada beat some MLS teams last preseason as well, but I think the way we're doing it is just as important as the final result. You're seeing the team defend well. You're seeing the team, score some nice goals on free kicks and moving forward. So I think as long as the way the Armada are playing continues to progress, I think it could be a good regular season.
Guys, thanks so much. Andy Kidd, David Hayes, we appreciate it. Coming up, a closer look at the Armada's next opponent, last season's MLS Supporter Shield winner, the New York Red Bulls. More Armada Kickoff is straight ahead.
On Saturday, the Armada go for their third victory against an MLS team this preseason when they take on the New York Red Bulls. The Red Bulls, the Supporters Shield winner last year. No team won more games, earned more points than the Red Bulls. They were Eastern Conference finalists, finally losing out to Columbus at the end of the year. They'll be ready to go in their final tune-up before the MLS season begins, and a chance for the Armada to notch a third victory against an MLS side.
Another great opportunity for fans to get tickets at a great prices with our Kraken Pack. Buying this pack gets you 8 Armada games, including the season opener in Community First Park against Miami FC, and a match against new NASL opponent Rayo OKC. There are 2 bundles of games to choose from, both just $88. And for a limited time, when you buy, you get a bonus game with a ticket to Saturday's match against the New York Red Bulls. So release your Kraken and join the fleet by calling 844-2-ARMADA or going to armadafc.com.
Folks around the soccer world are recognizing what's happening here in Jacksonville this preseason. I think 2016 is going to be a very exciting year. Remember, you get the very latest on the Armada online at armadafc.com and on radio. The Armada Soccer Show, Wednesdays at 6 on Sports Radio 930. And Armada Kickoff airs every Thursday night at 10 right here on CW17. Thanks so much for joining us. I'm Cole Pepper.
And I'm Ashlea Bullington. We leave you with our Armada selfie montage. To be part of it, just hashtag your own Armada selfie on social media with hashtag Armada selfie. The best ones will appear on the show every week. We'll see you at Community First Park Saturday for the Armada versus New York Red Bulls.